All right, listeners, ready to dive deep with us today?
Always.
Awesome.
Ugh.
Today, we're going to be tackling modern family and relationships.
Ooh.
And we're getting there in kind of a surprising way.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
It all starts with an IELTS prep script.
Really?
I know. Test prep, not exactly the most thrilling thing, right?
Right.
But trust me on this one.
Okay.
This script had some really interesting stuff about family and relationships and how they're changing.
Interesting.
So whether you're prepping for a job interview that focuses on family or just want to be in the know about social trends, I think you'll get a lot out of this deep dive with us.
I'm ready.
Okay, so to kick things off,
Yeah.
we're going to be uncovering how family roles are changing these days.
Okay.
Plus, we'll find out which parenting style is considered the most effective nowadays.
Ooh, I'm curious about that one.
And we'll even touch on why having friends is basically like having health insurance.
Haha. Okay, that's a good one.
Right. But way more fun, of course.
Of course, yeah. Friends are the best.
Absolutely.
So what I found really interesting about this IELTS script is how it uses family as like a starting point to explore these massive societal shifts that are happening right now.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like the seemingly simple topic, family.
Right.
It just cracks open this window into how our world is changing.
Totally.
We're talking economics, gender roles, even our whole idea of what family means is changing.
That's wild, isn't it?
It is.
Okay, so let's get into some specifics.
Okay, sounds good.
The script points out this huge shift away from the traditional family dynamic.
You know, the breadwinner dad and homemaker mom kind of thing.
Exactly. That's not the norm anymore.
Not at all.
Now we're seeing a lot more dual income families.
Yep.
Where both parents work and share responsibilities at home.
It's definitely not like Leave It to Beaver anymore.
Right. Times have changed.
Big time.
Yeah.
And it's not just some random trend, you know.
No, it's not.
This shift is tied to bigger things happening in society.
Like what?
Well, for one, the cost of living has gone way up.
Oh, for sure.
In a lot of places, it's almost impossible to make ends meet on a single income.
Makes sense.
Then you've got the fact that way more women are in the workforce now than ever before.
It's true.
And our ideas about gender roles are evolving too. It's not automatically assumed that mom stays home while dad works anymore.
It's about time, right?
Right. So you've got this perfect storm, you know.
Yeah.
Economic necessity, changing social norms.
Yep.
All of that is reshaping what family looks like today.
And the script even gives an answer for the IELTS exam.
Uh-huh.
And it talks about how this shift reflects this push for gender equality.
Okay.
And how families are, like, reprioritizing things.
Interesting.
It's not just that moms are working more.
Right.
It's that dads are expected to be more active at home, too.
Totally.
It's like everyone's wearing many hats these days.
Oh, that's such a good way to put it.
Right. Wearing many hats.
I see that all the time in my work, you know.
Oh, I bet.
It's not even just about, like, splitting the chores evenly anymore.
Yeah.
It's the mental load, too.
Yeah, the mental load.
Right. Managing a household, making sure everyone's needs are met, keeping track of all the schedules.
Oh, my gosh. And then on top of that, trying to have some kind of personal life.
Uh-huh. Exactly.
It's a lot.
It's no wonder families are feeling stretched thin.
Totally agree. So we've talked about role shifting, and it makes me think, how are parents actually approaching their role today?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because with both parents working and feeling the pressure, you'd think maybe strict parenting would be the go-to.
Yeah, just to keep things under control.
Right. But the script actually dives into different parenting styles.
Okay.
And it might surprise you what it says.
Lay it on me.
It's not all about laying down the law.
Okay.
The script lays out 3 main parenting styles: authoritarian, permissive, and authoritative.
3 very different approaches.
And each one comes with its own beliefs and potential outcomes for the kids.
That makes sense.
For example, that authoritarian style, the my way or the highway approach,
Yeah.
that's all about control and obedience. Picture the classic because I said so kind of parent.
Oh, yeah, I know that type.
And while that might create order in the short term, studies show that it can actually backfire later on.
Interesting.
Kids raised this way might struggle with independence, decision-making, even forming healthy relationships. They could even be more prone to anxiety and low self-esteem.
That makes sense.
If you're never allowed to question anything or make your own choices, how do you learn to trust yourself?
Right. It's like they never get to practice those skills.
Exactly. So what about the permissive style then? Is that the complete opposite?
It's definitely on the other end of the spectrum.
Okay.
Permissive parenting is all about giving kids freedom, autonomy, letting them push boundaries.
Okay.
Think about like the free-range approach to parenting.
So less go to your room and more explore the world, kiddo.
Uh-huh, exactly.
But doesn't that just lead to chaos?
Well, it can if there aren't any boundaries at all.
Yeah, that's true.
The key is finding that balance, allowing kids to explore while making sure they understand actions have consequences.
Okay.
The problem with being purely permissive is that kids might not develop self-discipline
Right.
or learn to respect other people's needs.
Yeah, I could see that.
They might even struggle with authority figures later in life.
Interesting. So too strict is bad, too lenient is bad.
Sounds like a Goldilocks situation.
And I'm betting this authoritative style is the just right porridge.
You got it.
And I'm guessing I'm not alone in thinking that.
Nope, not at all.
The script actually presents the authoritative style as the most effective.
Interesting.
It's about striking that balance, setting clear expectations,
Yeah.
but also being responsive to your child's needs and feelings.
Gotcha.
It's interesting, though, because the IELTS script,
Yeah.
it's designed for people who might still believe in that stricter approach.
That's true.
So to have it highlight this more empathetic style, it's kind of like it's subtly challenging those old school views.
That is a really insightful observation. And it shows how even simple things like test prep materials can reflect cultural shifts
Right.
and maybe even influence them a little bit.
It's pretty cool when you think about it.
It is.
Okay, so what makes this authoritative style so special?
Well, it's about setting those clear boundaries and expectations, like you said.
Yeah.
But it's also about explaining the reasons behind the rules.
So it's not just do this because I said so.
Exactly. It's more like do this because it will help you learn or because it will keep you safe.
Oh, I see.
It's about understanding and cooperation, not just blind obedience.
And that makes a big difference.
It does.
Plus, the research shows that kids raised with this style, they tend to be more independent, self-confident, and socially responsible.
That's awesome.
It's about raising kids who can think for themselves, not just follow orders.
It's like giving them the tools to navigate the world,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. It's funny, though, because the expert in the script even mentions that old saying, spare the rod, spoil the child.
Haha. Oh, wow.
Can you imagine saying that today?
Yeah, no, not really.
Right.
It's like the complete opposite of how we think about parenting now.
Right.
Now it's all about positive reinforcement, nurturing emotional intelligence.
It shows how far we've come in understanding child development.
For sure.
So we've seen this huge shift in family roles, and these different parenting styles are emerging.
Right.
But does all this change mean family itself is becoming less important?
That's a good question.
Because the script seems to think not.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
If anything, family might be more important than ever.
Especially in today's world.
I know. It's like the world is so fast-paced and chaotic.
It can be overwhelming.
Totally.
And family becomes that anchor.
Yeah.
That one constant we can rely on.
There's actually research that shows this, right?
Oh, absolutely. Studies show that strong family connections lead to better mental and physical health.
So it's like having this built-in support system to help you through life.
Exactly. It's like a buffer against the stresses of the world.
I like that, a buffer.
Yeah.
The script even uses the sample answer about mental well-being to prove this point. Family isn't just about holidays and stuff. It's about having that safety net.
Yes. That unconditional love.
Knowing that no matter what happens, someone's got your back.
That's so important.
It is.
Yeah.
And that brings us to that classic saying.
Which one?
Blood is thicker than water.
Ah, yes. That's an interesting one.
It implies this inherent bond, right?
Just based on being related.
Exactly. And while that might be true for a lot of people,
Yeah.
it also makes me wonder, are there times when chosen family or really close friends become even more important than relatives?
Ooh, that's a deep question.
What do you think?
That's a great question. And it's one that I think we need to explore more.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because if family is ultimately about love and support
Right.
and belonging,
Mm-hmm.
does it really matter if that's based on blood or choice?
It makes you think, doesn't it?
It really does.
And speaking of those close connections, the script also had some interesting points about friendships.
Because friends are awesome, let's be real.
They are. But the script goes beyond just saying friends are fun.
Okay.
It's basically saying they're like a secret weapon
Ooh, I like that.
for a healthier, happier life.
Interesting.
Almost like friends are our own personal health insurance.
I love that analogy.
Right.
And there's actually a ton of research backing that up.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Studies show that strong social connections can lead to reduced stress, increased happiness, even a longer lifespan.
Wow, so friends really are the best medicine.
I think so.
And it's not just about physical health either.
Right.
The script talks about how friends provide companionship and help us combat loneliness.
Which can be incredibly isolating.
Especially in this world we live in. We're so connected online.
Right.
But sometimes we end up feeling even more disconnected from each other.
Exactly. It's a weird paradox.
It is.
Think about it. We're constantly bombarded with information these days. There's this pressure to present this perfect image online.
Oh, totally.
It's easy to feel like you're not measuring up.
Oh, I feel that all the time.
But true friendships offer that safe space to just be yourself.
Flaws and all.
Exactly.
It's like having that one person you can call at 3 a.m. when you're having a meltdown.
Aha, yes.
And instead of judging you, they're just there with a listening ear.
And maybe some ice cream?
Aha, right.
Yeah.
And somehow everything feels a little bit better.
That's the power of true connection.
And the script really emphasizes this idea of friends being a source of emotional support.
Yeah.
They help us stay positive.
They're our cheerleaders.
Totally.
Celebrating our wins, helping us back up when we fall.
I love that.
And then there's that classic saying.
What's that?
You know, a friend in need is a friend indeed.
Ooh, that's a good one. But it makes me wonder, what does being a friend in need actually mean today?
That's a great question.
Because we're all so busy.
It's true.
And sometimes it feels like we're connecting more through social media than in person. So is liking someone's post about a hard time really being there for them?
Good point.
Or does it take more than that?
I think it definitely takes more.
So how do we actually show up for our friends in meaningful ways when we're all juggling so much?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right.
I think it's a mix of things.
Okay.
Sometimes it's about being physically present.
Like actually spending time together?
Yeah, like going for coffee, watching a movie.
Or even just hanging out and doing nothing.
Exactly.
Sometimes that's the best.
It is. And sometimes it's about being emotionally present, right?
Really?
Really listening, offering encouragement.
Or just letting them know you're thinking of them.
Those little things can mean so much.
They really can.
And sometimes it's about using technology to bridge the distance. Yeah, that makes sense.
Sending a quick text to check in, scheduling a video call, maybe even just leaving a thoughtful comment on their post. So it's not so much about how we do it, but the intention behind it, right?
Absolutely. It's about making the effort.
To prioritize those connections that bring us joy and support.
Because those are the relationships that truly matter.
Exactly.
And it's important to remember that those connections can evolve over time.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
People change, life throws curveballs.
It's about embracing that and finding ways to stay connected even when things get tough.
Exactly. And sometimes it's also about letting go gracefully.
Letting go.
Yeah, when a friendship has run its course.
Okay.
Recognizing that not all relationships are meant to last forever.
That's true.
And that doesn't make the connection you shared any less valuable.
You're right. Sometimes holding on too tight can actually prevent you from finding new connections that might be a better fit.
Exactly. It's all about being open to new possibilities.
And knowing that every relationship, whether it lasts a lifetime or just a season, teaches us something.
About ourselves and about the world.
So true. Okay, so we've talked about family changing, the power of friendships, this idea of chosen family.
It's like we're redefining what it means to belong, to love, and to be loved.
And with all these shifts happening, it really makes you wonder.
It does make you wonder, what does that mean for how we define community in the first place?
Ooh, that's a big one.
Right.
If the traditional family is changing so much, what does that mean for community?
Is it still about, like, living near each other? Or are shared values and those chosen connections becoming even more important?
That's such a good question.
I think it's definitely shifting.
Yeah, it feels like those lines are getting blurrier, you know.
Totally.
Family, friends, community. It's all blending together.
It is.
And you can't talk about this without talking about online communities.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
People are finding a sense of belonging online in ways we couldn't have imagined before.
It's pretty amazing.
It is.
You can find a group online for almost anything these days.
Seriously, anything.
And for some people, those online connections, they become their main source of support.
It's true.
Especially for people who maybe don't have strong family ties,
Right.
or who feel like they don't fit into traditional structures.
It's like we're building our own chosen families,
Exactly.
both online and offline.
It's a beautiful thing.
It really challenges that old saying, you can choose your friends, but you can't choose your family.
Right.
Because maybe, in a way, we can choose our family.
In terms of who we consider our real support system, yeah.
Exactly.
That idea of chosen family is so empowering.
It is.
Especially for people who haven't felt that unconditional love from their biological families.
Yeah, it's about finding those people who truly see you.
And celebrate who you are.
No matter what.
It doesn't have to be about DNA.
It reminds me of that part in the script
Yeah.
where it talks about friendships being like health insurance,
Uh-huh.
but way more enjoyable.
Of course.
And I was thinking, isn't that true for chosen family too?
Absolutely.
It's that extra layer of support.
To help you through life's ups and downs.
And there's that research to back this up, right?
Oh, yeah, tons of it.
People with close friends, whether it's chosen family or not, they tend to live longer, have stronger immune systems.
Even recover faster from illness.
It's amazing what those connections can do.
It is.
So friends and chosen family,
Yeah.
they really are the best medicine.
The best.
And it's not just about physical health, right?
No.
The script also talks about how friendships provide companionship, and they help us combat loneliness.
Which can be incredibly tough.
It can be so isolating.
Even if you're surrounded by people.
That's so true.
In a world where we're always comparing ourselves to others.
Yeah.
Trying to present this perfect image.
Social media is a killer for that.
It really is.
True friendships offer that safe space to just be yourself, vulnerable, real.
Let your guard down.
It's like having that person you can call when you're having a total meltdown.
Oh, yeah.
And there's like, tell me everything, I've got wine and pizza.
No judgment.
Just support.
A best kind of friend.
And somehow, things just feel a little bit better.
It's that feeling of being seen and heard.
Without judgment.
That's what makes all the difference.
And that's what the script is talking about with emotional support. Having someone to celebrate with, someone to cry with, someone to help you stay positive.
It's like having your own personal cheering squad.
I love that. My own cheering squad. But that brings up a question for me.
Okay, what's that?
The script mentions that, saying, a friend in need is a friend indeed.
Yes.
What does that actually look like today?
That's a good question.
Because again, we're all so busy.
Always running around.
And a lot of our interactions are online now.
It's true.
So what does it really mean to be there for someone?
Right, because is it just about liking their posts about a hard time?
Yeah, is that enough?
I don't think so.
So how do we show up in meaningful ways?
That's the key, isn't it?
It is.
I think it's a mix of things, like we talked about before.
Okay.
Sometimes it's about being physically present.
Like actually making time to see them.
Exactly. Having coffee, watching a movie, just hanging out.
Sometimes those simple things are the best.
And sometimes it's about being emotionally present.
Really listening, offering support.
Letting them know you're thinking of them.
And sometimes it's about using technology to stay connected when you can't be physically present.
Sending a text, making a video call.
It's all about making the effort.
Right. It really is.
And it's about remembering that those connections can change over time.
People change. Life happens.
It's about embracing that and finding ways to stay connected even when things get tough.
Exactly.
And sometimes it's about letting go gracefully.
When a friendship has run its course.
Recognizing that not all relationships are meant to last forever.
And that's okay.
It's about being open to new possibilities, right?
Yeah, exactly. New friends, new connections.
And knowing that every relationship teaches us something valuable.
About ourselves and about the world.
So true. Okay, so we've talked about family changing, the power of friendships, this idea of chosen family.
It seems like we're redefining what it means to belong.
To love and be loved.
And with all these changes happening, it begs the question, how do we define love and support in the 21st century?
It feels like a huge shift is happening.
It really does.
If all these lines are getting blurrier between family, friends, community,
right.
What does that mean for how we think about those things?
It's a profound question.
It is.
And I don't think there's just one answer.
Yeah, it's complex.
But what's exciting is that this shift is creating space for new ways of experiencing love and support.
I like that.
We're not limited by those old categories anymore.
It's like we're breaking free from those old expectations.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that love and support can come from so many different sources.
And that those sources can change over time, too.
Absolutely. What might work for you at one stage of life might be completely different later on.
It's about being adaptable.
And open to new possibilities.
It makes me think about something you mentioned earlier,
Oh, yeah. What's that?
about how even test prep materials are reflecting these changes.
Right. Like that IELTS script,
It's almost subtly challenging traditional views.
just by presenting different options.
And if a test prep script can do that,
Yeah,
imagine the impact it's having on people's actual lives.
that's a powerful thought.
It's like these conversations about family and relationships are happening everywhere.
Even in unexpected places.
It's pretty cool.
It is.
So as we wrap up our deep dive today,
Yeah.
let's take a minute to reflect on what we've learned.
Sounds good.
It's clear that the traditional family is changing,
Big time.
but those core needs for love, connection, support,
Those are as strong as ever.
absolutely. And this evolution, all this change, it's creating space for new forms of family and community to emerge
Ones that are more inclusive, more diverse.
that truly reflect the beauty of human experience.
I love that.
It's like we're rewriting the rules.
Of what it means to belong, to love, and to be loved.
We're recognizing that family isn't just about blood,
It's about who we choose to share our lives with.
who we support,
And who supports us in return.
and that's a beautiful thing.
It really is.
It's about celebrating the power of human connection in all its forms.
Whether it's the love between parent and
A
child,
bond between siblings,
the connection of a romantic partnership,
the support of close friends.
or the sense of belonging we find in our communities.
And as we navigate this ever-changing world of relationships, it's important to remember that there's no one right way to do it.
Absolutely. What works for one person might not work for another.
And that's okay.
The key is to find what feels authentic for you
What brings you joy and fulfillment?
and to approach those relationships with an open mind
Willingness to grow?
and to evolve alongside the people we care about.
So well said.
Because at the end of the day, it's the quality of our connections that matters most.
Not the form they take.
That's what truly enriches our lives.
And on that note, we'll leave you with one final thought to ponder.
Okay, hit me with it.
If the future of family and community is about creating our own chosen connections,
Yeah.
what steps can you take today to cultivate relationships that bring you joy, support, and a deep sense of belonging?
That's something for all of us to think about.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
It's been a great conversation.
Until next time.
Keep exploring.